welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and today in honor of spooky season I decided that I wanted to build kind of like a haunted castle-y thing. And I actually built this over on stream, and I started and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a cute haunted house, and then it kind of turned into this like cute castle for a paranormal investigator kind of thing. So that is actually what we ended up with. And I decided that I wanted to have like that really cool castle feel with some of those like curved roofs, and I feel like it turned out so amazing. And I ended up doing a lot of tweaking here with this build, especially using like those octagons as the towers. And I am happy to say that I actually used the towers. I was back and forth on whether or not I was actually going to use that second floor, but I did end up using it. And I also introduced a basement in here for the paranormal investigator to do their thing. So there's like an altar down there and a seance table, and anyways, we'll get there a little bit later, but I was so excited about this. I had so much fun building this. And this lot is actually in Henford on Bagley because I wanted it to be in this like foresty wooded area, and I feel like Henford on Bagley has gorgeous lots for that. Like they're just surrounded by this lush, beautiful forest, and I thought this would work really well, especially when it was a little bit darker and like it all just kind of came together. And you can see here I was messing around with different colors because I was thinking about doing this cute haunted house because there's this ghost wallpaper that I saw the other day, and I was like, it is so cute. It's like these pastel adorable ghosts, and that's kind of where I got the idea. But then we kind of went off track and we ended up with a paranormal investigator home instead, which honestly I'm really happy about. I kind of like building stuff that people can actually use as something for a sim that like has a certain job or career, and I feel like this works out really well. And I spent a lot of time trying to decide like, what do I want this facade to look like? Do I want it to be stone? Like what colors do I want? That kind of thing. And it kind of took on some castle-y, cottagey vibes is what I feel like ended up happening. And of course, when I chose the railing for the porch here, it doesn't have a matching railing for stairs, so that was really exciting. So I ended up having to swap that a little bit later on, but I think it all worked out and it still looks really cute. And I ended up using like a medium wall height, so you can see me trying a bunch of different doors, trying to get something that I feel like would fit nicely, that's like big enough to take up that tall wall height, but not so big as to be like overpowering. And I didn't really want to use the vampire door because I just felt like it was just a little much, and I wasn't going for that really like more scary look. Like I'm just not like I'm not super into Halloween, like the real scary like horror portions. Like I can get into cute like, you know, spooky maybe, but I'm just not into that like scary stuff. Like I cannot do haunted houses to save my life. Like maybe it's my anxiety, but I just can't handle it. There's no way. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say you couldn't pay me to go into a haunted house, because I'm sure there is a price, but it would be astronomical because it's just not me. But we end up putting these beautiful windows in, and I think these are from the university pack. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I went through a bunch of them, but I'm pretty sure that's the university pack. And I thought that looked really nice, and I didn't want it to look like really run down, but maybe just a little spooky. But I ended up spending a lot of time on like the outdoor landscaping. I ended up creating this super dense, lush like forest around it because I didn't want you to be able to fully see the build from the road, if that makes sense. Like I wanted you to kind of have to go around a bend in order to get to the build. And here you can see me experimenting. I wanted to connect that tower to the rest of the house, but I don't know, the Sims didn't like it, so I undid that, and we end up moving them around a little bit anyways. But it's fine. I tried to fix the little roof issue we had, and I just ended up undoing whatever I just tried doing. But anyways, after I'm done like tweaking this build a little bit more, we'll continue with the outside. And I finished the outside before I actually go inside, and I feel like I do that a lot actually. I'm not sure why, but I guess that's just my process. I feel like at the beginning when I started doing YouTube, I kind of did a bunch of different things, but this time I ended up just really like I feel like I just keep doing the outside and then going inside. And I apologize if you can hear my birds in the background. They're being a bit squawky today. So I'm not sure if that's going to come through on the mic. Hopefully not. But that's just, I feel like coming, comes with the territory of watching my videos sometimes. But I end up going into debug too, and just like, I went through all of debug, the whole debug category, all. I went through and pulled out a bunch of different trees and like bushes and low-lying grass and like this like rickety fence and some of these trees that look like they're a little bit dead, and then the ones that do look dead, and like trying to, I wanted it to blend into the surrounding forest, but I also wanted it to like create its little environment. And that tree that I just pulled out of debug, like that crooked one, that looks so cool. I was so happy, and I was like, I know I need to use this tree. I don't know where, but I'm definitely using it. But like I said, you can see kind of the path. Like I envision that you have to like be in that corner to like really see the build, and you have to walk up the sidewalk that way to actually get in. And so I really just filled in with a bunch of these broken fence pieces. Again, this is from debug, so if you go in there, you can just type in a cheat and you'll be able to access all of these random items. So I kind of just put those together, and I just slowly build up all of the vegetation. And I feel like I do that with a lot of my builds, and I really like that. Like I like the layering process. I mean, it could be too, because like, I like baking and decorating and things like that. And I feel like that's also very similar, where you just like start with a base coat of frosting, and then you just add like details and sprinkles and borders and all of those fun bits and bobs. And then it creates this like super cute cake. I feel like that's the same thing when I do like Sims landscaping. I just like start layering like that gorgeous low-lying vine I found. Like I love the look of it kind of growing into this sidewalk, like it's been there for a while. And then like I said, that tree, I was so excited about that tree. And like I said, I wanted to block off some of the view, and that was very intentional. I feel like that's not usually what I end up doing or what most people want to do, but I wanted it to be a little more hidden because it's supposed to be this kind of like spooky thing. And I grabbed those skeletons and put them down in the basement. I wasn't sure whether I was going to use them or not, but since I was in debug, I decided to grab them so that I wouldn't have to go looking for them again. And because if you are in debug, you can't duplicate items. So like if you pull an item out, you can't just duplicate it unless you pull it out of the catalog again. Now I do know that there's like a mod that you can install. I think it's Better Build and Buy, but that will let you do that kind of thing and duplicate items, but you can't just like usually do it. So anyways, while I was there, I decided to pull it out, and those items aren't named either, or at least most of them aren't. So they're really hard to find if you don't pull them out. And of course I pulled out those gorgeous like trees from, oh gosh, I guess it was Snowy Escape that had like the snow on it. It made me want to do like a snow build. Like we're in spooky fall season, all of a sudden I'm like, let's do a winter build. But anyways, I wanted to like just build all that up because I wanted like a little like space, maybe a little seating. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted, but I just knew I wanted something over there in the front yard. And in the back, I end up putting like a giant bush, so like that's the view you have from those back windows, because I felt like, maybe the paranormal investigator wouldn't want you like creeping on her house, and you wouldn't want somebody like being able to see in. So I ended up putting that bush out there. And I actually used one of the towers as like a secret entrance to the basement. So like the only people that are going to go back there are people that like maybe are one of the paranormal investigator's clients, and like she's doing a seance, and like, and I keep using she because that is the sim I used for my screenshots, but of course you can use any sim you want to. And this is up on the Sims 4 gallery if you want to download it and play with it under my Sims ID, Spice and Sprinkles, all lowercase and all one word, and it's down in the description if you want to see it written out. And as usual, if you download it, do whatever you want with it. It doesn't matter to me. If you download it just because you want the forest and you just take out the build, that's totally fine with me, but obviously play with it however you want to. And I know I mentioned it last time, but I was thinking about like creating a hashtag so people can actually upload families or just Sims for me to build for. So let me know if you feel like that's a good idea, and if it's actually worthwhile me trying to find a hashtag that would work for that, because I feel like that would just be a whole lot of fun. And then I ended up using these like candelabras on the wall there, because again, I wanted kind of a spooky feel. And then I ended up using those really cute street lamps just to add a little bit. Like, I don't want it to be like super dark and like scary, but I just wanted it to be a little spooky. And so I ended up over there, I guess I'll get to that probably in a minute. I ended up adding in like a fountain and some benches over in there because I thought that just might be a nice place to hang out. And of course I did put a cat in this build, or I put stuff for a cat, and for my screenshots there's definitely a black cat. As part of the screenshots, I couldn't help myself, and I actually ended up adding that stuff like literally at the very end. I'm like, oh wait, a cat, that would be great, and just like throwing this stuff in the build. But I really love that I end up putting a rocking chair up there, so like you can kind of just hang out on the porch and like look out at the woods. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of woods here, like who knows what's in there. And actually when I was taking screenshots, there was bunnies like running all over the place, so I thought that was actually really adorable if you do end up putting it here in Henford on Bagley. And I always include the lots that I build on in the description down below if you know you like this lot and you do want to place it there. Of course you do not have to, but in case you wanted to know, it is down there, along with the price and like how many like bedrooms and all of that kind of good stuff. And like I said, I did this on stream, so if you ever want to come and hang out and watch me build or help me build, you know, come check out my Twitch. It is down in the description. You can follow and see when I go live. I'm working on a permanent schedule. I'm hoping probably a few days a week I can stream and just build. And the other day I played Animal Crossing, so I hope to do like a variety of things and not just building. But I mean, I will be building in The Sims because I do that all the time. But it was actually funny when I did the screenshots for this. So I have not really played with the Paranormal pack, and I have not done haunted house stuff. And this is a haunted house lot, so if you download it, it does have that trait. You can take it off, but what that causes it to do is you get the little, are they called specters, I believe, in the game? Little ghosties, and your sim gets scared and all that kind of stuff, and weird stuff pops up around like your house and everything. So, but I've never actually played with it. I just love the items and use the items. And I feel like I do that with a lot of packs. And so when I was actually taking screenshots, it was like the first time I had even done some of these things. And it's actually a pretty cool pack. Like, I feel like I want to play. Maybe that's something that I do a little bit more on Twitch, is maybe to actually play The Sims. I feel like I do so much building because I love building, but I feel like I'm missing out on stuff with the game because I'm not like actually doing gameplay. And I ended up actually, so I was just decorating, but then in a little bit I end up actually just pulling as much as I could out of the Paranormal pack. So as many pieces as I thought would fit in here. So we do end up changing the floor to the floor from the Paranormal pack, but I got to use some of my favorite counters. They're actually from the Vampire pack, but I love those green counters. I don't know what it is, but like, it just speaks to me. They're just like so, like that green is just so deep and saturated that it just looks so cool, and I was so excited to be able to use it. And then I ended up putting like the little dining space here over in the corner, and I ended up using some of the cool chairs from the high school pack here, and I felt like that kind of fits in with the Paranormal pack a little bit. They're just a little bit funky, and they had those metallic touches on them, which I feel like a lot of the items in this pack have. So I end up using that over in the corner, and I wish it fit. I don't know why it didn't fit quite right. I think maybe it's because the doorway is just like a little bit big, but I really liked that archway. I felt like it added a lot of unique architectural like interest to that wall, so I left it because I liked it. And then again, using a lot of these green cabinets, and because I already had green in that carpet, because I love the carpet that I pulled out for the living space, so I just used that as a guide to some of my color choices, which I feel like I do quite often. It's really nice to just pull out one piece, and that's what helps like guide and inspire you for your build. Of course you don't have to do that, but if you're not feeling inspired, or you don't know where to start, or you need something to get going with a build, I feel like that's a great way to do it. I've definitely like pulled out a rug and then based the whole build around it. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but in this case I knew I wanted it to kind of be colorful and cute and like a little bit spooky and a little bit, you know, paranormal-ish. So I ended up using those curtains and everything as well from the pack. I love those curtains so much. They clip a little bit, but I think it looks okay in gameplay. And that was actually the ghost wallpaper I was talking about, because I found it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I even started this build to begin with. Here it is. But then it didn't really match anymore, and I was like, oh well, we're already doing this, so we just kind of changed gears and this is where we're going. And I found that gorgeous rug also from the high school pack that was like that deep green that matched the cabinet, so I put that there and swapped out the like tablecloth for that table. And you saw that I pulled out that tapestry there a second ago. I wish we had more tapestries, like, because I think that's such a gorgeous item, but it's like, I feel like they're very specific items. I feel like that's one of those items that I need to just like pick a swatch and that's what I design like my build around, or the decor anyways, because I really like it. I just don't use it very often because I don't feel like it matches. And I will say, so that little spice rack, I don't know why, but the sim would not cook. Like, they were like, oh, there's nowhere to put the food. So when you download this build, I ended up having to just take that spice rack out because I felt like it looked weird if I put it on the other counters, but your sim can cook. So also doing screenshots, that helps me like decide like if I need to move something around, if your sims can't get to things. And I end up actually swapping out the fireplace because I was like, oh, the paranormal pack has a fireplace, like let's use that one. And something else, when I was playtesting, like my sim couldn't get to the fireplace, so I moved stuff around. So again, what's on the gallery should be fine and you shouldn't have any issues. Of course, if you do have some issues, you can just kind of scoot around some of the items. And as always, don't forget to use bb.moveObjects, that cheat that you type in when you place the slot. Otherwise, it basically will explode and it might delete a bunch of objects because the game doesn't naturally like when you intersect items. But when you have that cheat on, it allows you to, and I feel like it's a lot more versatile. And I think, you know, it's nice like when you're first starting to build, like to have it that way, like not intersecting stuff. But then as you get used to the game, like it's really nice to be able to, because I feel like you can actually create more items that way. Like I like to combine like flowers and different like vases and stuff to create like a new like vase of flowers, if that makes sense. And I ended up using, I forgot that they had that shelf in this pack, and so I actually use it like twice in this build because I was like, I have to use this. This is so cute. And I end up actually, so the bathroom here, I did a 2-story bathroom. Like, it sounded crazy when I was on stream, but I was like, I think I'm gonna do it. Like, because I wanted the tower to be the bathroom, but if you've ever worked in that like octagon, it's like kind of hard. And The Sims also doesn't like diagonal walls. Like I've talked about in my birthday cake build, it doesn't like the round walls. It doesn't like diagonal either. And so I thought, you know what, I feel like it'd be really cool if the second floor, like all that's up there is like a bathroom, and then it's like this like really nice spa like space for your sim. They can go up there and like they can see out the window to the forest, and they can just like hang out in their tub and just have this really tranquil place. And so I actually really loved how it turned out, and the ladders do work. I was concerned, but your sim can actually get to the bathtub, and that's all, it all works. So yay. I'm so happy about that. And then the first floor has like the toilet and the sink in it, and then like some storage. Again, I wanted to make sure that your sim could get to the ladder and could use everything and all that kind of stuff. So you shouldn't have any issues. And I feel like it's very easy to make it to where the ladders and stuff aren't useful, or your sim can't actually go up them. So I try to be really careful about that. And then I feel like I put a lot of portraits all over the place. Like, I don't know, maybe that was the sim's like ancestor, and they were also a paranormal investigator and like that kind of thing. And I wanted to use the green cabinets again, but it just wasn't fitting quite right. So I swap it out for like a freestanding sink, because I think that helped make it not look so heavy on that side of the bathroom, if that makes sense. And then just adding in that really cool looking mirror. And then I originally had like green going on in here, but I think I actually end up changing it to more of a blue color, if I remember correctly. I know I just literally did this last night, but I don't know why I can't remember. what I ended up doing. And then I, of course, put just a rug in here to make it a little more comfy. Oh yeah, because I think it was that I wanted that rug and that was a little bit blue. So I ended up swapping out that swatch as well. But I figured it worked well because there was blue throughout the build as well, like blues, pinks, greens, like some of my favorite colors, to be honest. And then I end up just putting a plant here, like, so there's this like little entryway to the bedroom and the bathroom. And the bedroom was quite interesting because of its shape. And so I went back and forth about where I actually wanted to put the bed, but I end up putting it kind of over in the corner, like it's like this cozy space, like you've got to come in the room and like go around the corner to get to the bed. And I end up, I think I swap out the bed. I do, because there was something about it that just, I don't know, it felt very plain. Like I love that swatch for that bed, but it just, for this build, didn't feel quite right. So I end up actually also changing the wallpaper, because I think that was also part of the challenge, was finding a bed that matched the wallpaper. So I do end up, I think, going with like the pink swatch, and then I ended up with like that really cozy bed that has that like really fluffy like comforter on it, if you know what I'm talking about. I did look at possibly using the canopy bed because I felt like that would work too, but I ended up going with, like I said, that like fluffy one. Yeah, this one. I don't know why, but this one just looks so cozy with all the pillows and like the quilted nature of the comforter. It just looks really nice to me. And so anyways, just adding in like a nice area rug. And then I thought, you know what, let's put a TV in here because there's not one in the living room, and let's all be honest, your Sims need entertainment, and that's an easy way to get it. It's also an easy way to actually get some skills, like if you watch the cooking channel, like that kind of thing, then you can actually raise your Sims cooking skill. I think there's a few more like comedy as well I think you can do. And then I just added in like a little seat so like you could hang out here and put some books in here. I figured also that this Sim really likes reading, so I actually made one of the towers like a cozy reading nook. I was so excited when I actually came up with that idea. I ended up making it that the first floor of that tower is like, it has like a big bookcase in it and everything. It has a ladder to the second floor. And then the second floor ends up having this really cozy reading space. And then I ended up, so this is me trying to experiment on how to get down to the basement. So I really wanted to use stairs, like I really did. But for the life of me, I could not get them to work. Like I tried so hard, but I just couldn't. So we end up going with the ladder, and which I guess makes sense. Like it really is a small space, but I thought you would definitely have a curtain up because you wouldn't want people to know about your secret paranormal basement. And so I end up putting that curtain there so like people couldn't like see in. And then I just kind of kept it really simple. I ended up putting this like candle chandelier. Is that, I don't know, does that actually have a name? Anyways, doing that, and then putting a picture of, oh, what is his name? Guidry or something like that. And this is a Sim that like pops up in haunted houses to help like guide you through the haunted house stuff. And then this is down where the like seance table is, and then we'd make this like altar thing. That was actually a suggestion from somebody on stream, and so I just put a bunch of urns and pictures and things around the place, and it actually ends up looking really nice. Like I put some death flowers on there, which you use to make ambrosia, which brings Sims back to life, and just some books and flowers and things like that. And then I also put a computer with a desk down here because A, it's useful for Sims, but B, I'm thinking like if this is her job, maybe this is like her office space, you know, like she'll go down there and she can like talk with clients and like do whatever, you know, stuff she needs to do on the computer. Like, so this is kind of like her career space, if that makes sense. And then I included, of course, one of the jars that they put the specters in, as well as one of those creepy dolls that I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to include that as well. And then I don't know how a vine got through here, but maybe there's a crack in the foundation, but we have a creepy vine as well. And then a bunch of urns. And it's so funny because I found them in debug, and I pulled, like I said, since you can't duplicate them, I pulled them all out to make sure I had enough for what I wanted to do. And then I couldn't delete them. It didn't want to let me delete it, which does happen with some items in debug when you pull them out. So I ended up using all of them. So there's a bunch of urns down here. So yeah. Anyways, just, you know, as a warning, if you do pull things out to see if they actually can be deleted. So I end up just piling a bunch of them over in the corner, but I think this actually looks really nice and filled in, and I really liked how it turned out. And then, yeah, so that thing, like, I don't know, like, is that an urn that happens when your Sims drown? It has like a, like, safety, like, what is it, thing around it, like life preserver thing, tube, whatever. And I've never seen that before, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyways, just kind of finishing up a little bit of this clutter. And then I feel like that was the most time consuming part of the basement, was actually like doing the altar and of course putting a voodoo doll. Like, I couldn't help myself. And then I just put some herbs up on, or, you know, plants, whatever they are, up on the wall, because I feel like maybe the paranormal investigator uses them for things, I don't know. And then I end up putting this like chest in the corner, which I didn't know was like for storage, like, but I felt like it was super cute and made a whole lot of sense here. So I just throw that over in the corner. And then I think from here we end up actually working on that reading nook, which, like I said, I was super excited about. And about the time I was doing this is when I figured out that I wanted a cat in this build. So I actually end up putting like a scratching post in the first floor area of this reading space. And then I end up putting like the food bowl in the kitchen and then the cat bed in the bedroom. So we do that at the very end. But I was so incredibly thrilled that these corner couches like fit up here. Like, I was so excited because, I mean, it looks so good up here, so cozy. I could imagine like going up there and curling up with a good book and some hot cocoa and like being able to look out the window. I talk like I actually do a lot of reading. Personally, I don't, but I like the idea. I really like the idea of it. But anyways, I thought this would be a really nice space for your Sim to hang out, and it does all work properly. Your Sim can get up there and enjoy that space since it was all play tested. And then I end up, because I kept wanting to put flowers and I forgot, so I had to make sure to go do that before I forgot again. So then just putting in this bookcase here and just finishing out this area, adding a little bit of clutter, and then eventually just putting in the cat stuff. I think is when I got the cat sculpture out. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, we should add a cat. But anyways, we are actually nearing the end of this build. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would so appreciate it. And as always, leave a comment down below if you have something you want to see, and let me know if you like the hashtag idea. I would love your input, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.